Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Namaskar. This is Suraj Singh speaking of Bharat, India on this day, February 2022, Tuesday, 3:50 a.m., 3:49 a.m. नमस्कार, मैं सूरज सिंह सिविल इंजीनियर भारत इंडिया से बोल रहा हूँ। आज दिनांक फरवरी 8 2022 सुबह के 3:49 and I'm present before you with same talk having coordination status and you can say quality and coordination. Important items, I think, and this is certain certifications. I daily like to introduce myself, and you know all that. Just for you can say kind of start. This is, and you can say these files which I'm going to show to you in this talk. And particularly, I may use some contents of Hindi as well in this talk. And we can say we move together with this. That talk is about quality, coordination. Coordination engineering is given scientific status on this, focus on quality and coordination in this talk. Title of talk as usual is Quality Works Coordination, Engineering, Communication, Concrete Materials, Civil Field Engineering, Contracts, Safety, Designs, Construction Methods, Arbitration, Organizations and why quality and works. And Hindi I can say गुणवत्ता जो काम की होती है उसके बारे में, काम की गुणवत्ता के बारे में और समन्वय के बारे में, अभियांत्रिकी, संचार, कंक्रीट, अभियांत्रिकी जो सभी के लिए है वो फील्ड में क्या होती है और संविदाएं, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स, करार, सुरक्षा, डिज़ाइन करना, निर्माण के तरीके और कभी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पर झगड़े हो जाएं दोनों पार्टी में तो वो कैसे सुलझें, इसको हम आर्बिट्रेशन इंग्लिश में कहते हैं। हिंदी में क्या कहेंगे मुझे नहीं पता, लेकिन ऐसे लोग जो उस फैसले को कराएं उसको आर्बिट्रेटर कहते हैं। जो उस पार्टी के फैसले दोनों के झगड़े हो जाएं, झगड़े का मतलब मार पिटाई से नहीं है, झगड़े का मतलब सिविल से कोई डिस्प्यूट हो गया, कितना पैसा लेना है, कितना मिल रहा है, या कोई साइड पर टेक्निकल प्रॉब्लम आ गई उसको कैसे सॉल्व किया जाए, वैसी चीज़ें उसको हम कहते हैं निर्णय करने वाले या दोनों के बीच में समता से फैसला कराने वाले लोग आर्बिट्रेटर जिनको कहते हैं। हिंदी में मैं नहीं जानता क्या कहते होंगे, खैर वो देखेंगे बाद में। ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस जो है मैं एक बार चेक कर लेता हूँ, शायद कुछ मिल जाए गूगल पे, क्योंकि बाद में याद नहीं रहता है। आर्बिट्रेटर क्या होता है, लेट अस सी। आर्बिट्रेशन मीनिंग इन हिंदी मध्यस्थता करना, चलो मिल गया, सॉरी मध्यस्थता है, वैसे मध्यस्थता सूट नहीं कर रहा मेरे हिसाब से, खैर कोई बात नहीं है। नाउ as you have seen these certificates, this is my email ID, you can see here with big letters it is you can say same as usual, Suraj_engineer. This is my ID at yahoo.co.uk, suraj_engineer. I will not read all this, you know that. It is my name plate, and this is every day I try to show you, and there's no change in this because it's name board. And until I change here, I can't change. This is my professional engineer certificate, INTPE, and this is chartered engineer certificate, and this is fellow member certificate, and this is coordination engineering file, and this is your इस फाइल। सो इट्स ओके, दोनों फाइलें मैंने आपको दिखा दी हैं। मैं इस सर्टिफिकेट चार्टर्ड इंजीनियर को बंद कर देता हूँ और FI को बंद कर देता हूँ, एंड वी कम ऑन टू कोऑर्डिनेशन इंजीनियरिंग, एंड दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट व्हाट वी से। कोऑर्डिनेशन इंजीनियरिंग मैंने आपसे कहा एक तरह का समन्वय, कोऑर्डिनेशन मीन्स समन्वय। वो समन्वय क्या होता है, कैसे होता है, हमारी लाइफ में भी होता है, यू नो, वी नो ऑल दैट, इट्स ऑल पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ। वी कैन नॉट मूव विदाउट कोऑर्डिनेशन, वी डिस्कस विद अदर्स, वी टॉक, वी डिबेट, we agree on certain point, and we say okay fine, there is no problem in this, we have checked, we have investigated, scrutinized whatever problems were there, and whatever information was required, or whatever information from whatever source were required, we have collected those information, and there's nothing missing, it seems. There's nothing missing in that, and if nothing missing, we can say okay, we reached to this is based on this information, we reached to this conclusion that we have to do like this, you know, we say that way। हमें बहुत सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन लेनी होती है किसी भी काम के लिए, वो इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल जाए और टाइम में मिल जाए। ये ना हो कि एक आज मिल रही है, एक 2 घंटे बाद मिल रही है, एक परसों मिल रही है। इट डजंट वर्क दैट वे। अगर आज काम कर रहा है तो हमारे पास वो इन्फॉर्मेशन पहले होनी चाहिए, वो सूचनाएँ होनी चाहिए जिसके ऊपर वो काम डिपेंड करता है, वो काम कैसे करना है। वो एक ही टाइम में आनी चाहिए, उस काम करने के टाइम से पहले आनी चाहिए और समझ भी आनी चाहिए। और उसको अप्लाई करना है, हमने उसको अप्लाई करने का मतलब करके दिखाना है, पर उस पर कार्य करना है। वी हैव टू डू वर्क ऑन दैट, वी हैव टू अप्लाई दैट इन्फॉर्मेशन ऑन टू आवर वर्क, एंड दैट्स व्हाई इट्स कॉल्ड ऑल इन्फॉर्मेशन शुड कम इन टाइम from whatever source, whether technical source or resource or codes or somewhere else. And in life also we have to take the information. And if you take decision without information, decision level will be right, it shall be partly right or partly not right. And something is required to be perfect, only then we can say if it's perfect, we can apply that. So coordination is something very different. Everybody has different understanding about it. I'm talking of coordination, which is based on communication, and communication should be right. If communication is right, we receive communication at right time. It should be right, it should be applicable, it should be reasonable, and it should work. And if suppose there are many points we require, we should have information about many points, conclusive information, logical information, not just we assume something. Assumptions won't work there. Assumptions work in theory, assumptions work in derivation, but it doesn't work. A kind of derivation it is. We have to drive to solution from available information, and what shape it shall take, it depends on what we have to do. So we say it's coordination, and also it is quality and coordination. You can say, we say quality and coordination, particularly I'm talking of this country, but I'm now hiding this name. For example, I'm talking in general, quality and coordination, and we are talking of this is a very important point because we have to be serious about that. And I'm sure quality doesn't work all the time. It should work every time. For each work it should be, even the work may be temporary or maybe preparatory or maybe permanent, whatever kind of work we do, quality is a must and coordination is a must. Don't think it's a temporary work we can do without quality, we can do quality. That doesn't happen. Quality works everywhere. Even if buy some item, it may work for 1 year, but quality must have quality. And if it has quality, it shall work qualitatively. It shall work in that function. So if it is sleeping, for example, quality is like quality सो रही, हम गुणवत्ता चाहते हैं लेकिन गुणवत्ता सो रही है। एक्चुअली गुणवत्ता सोती नहीं है, हम सो जाते हैं। सच बात तो ये है, हम सो जाते हैं। हम सोने का मतलब हम ढीले हो जाते हैं, हम सीरियस नहीं रहते हैं। और सीरियस को मतलब गंभीरता नहीं है हमारे अंदर, हमें कोई चिंता नहीं है उसकी। देखिए, चिंता में और गंभीरता में कोई फ़र्क नहीं है। अगर आपको चिंता है किसी काम की तो वो रहेगी आपके पास जब तक कि वो काम ना हो जाए। आप उससे बाहर नहीं आ सकते क्योंकि आप सीरियस आदमी हैं। आप समझते हैं टाइम की वैल्यू, आप समझते हैं गुणवत्ता की वैल्यू, और आप समझते हैं कॉस्ट की वैल्यू। आप कहेंगे छोड़ो यार कोई बात नहीं, हम कल देखेंगे इसको। आप कल देखेंगे और फिर कल कहेंगे हम कल देखेंगे, और इस तरह से आप कह सकते हैं आपकी सीरियस होने की चेन नहीं बनती है। लेकिन आपने कहा नहीं, मुझे आज ये काम करना है, ये मेरा प्लान है, मैं इसको डिले नहीं कर सकता, तो आप उसके लिए पूरी कोशिश करेंगे, पूरे सीरियस रहेंगे और वाच रखेंगे उस पर, अपनी दृष्टि रखेंगे उस पर। वी शैल कीप योर आइज, यू शैल कीप योर आइज ऑन दैट, you can kind of focus, you shall focus on that. And that focus is required, and focus is a kind of, you can say, destiny. It's a kind of target. You have to achieve that target. Target को आपको प्राप्त करना है, and that is where you can get only if quality functions well, if quantity functions well, if material is available, if resources are available, if everything is available, that is required for that. जिस चीज़ की, जिस सूत्र की, जिस फार्मूले की, जिस मटेरियल की, और जिस जो भी बैकअप चाहिए उसकी, वो हमारे पास है, और अपने आप को उसके सामने लाके उनको यूज़ करते हुए अगर हम जाएंगे तो हमारा काम तो होगा। नहीं करेंगे तो हम कहेंगे हम सो रहे हैं, सब कुछ होते हुए भी हमने कुछ नहीं किया। उसको आप क्या कहेंगे? लापरवाही कहेंगे, या नशे में रहना कहेंगे, या क्या कहेंगे, या आप सेलेक्ट कीजिए। मैं तो सिर्फ रेफरेंस दे रहा हूँ आपको। इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड, वी वांट टू टेक रेस्ट ऑल टाइम, or we want to work all time, and if we want to work all time, this means we have to think all time. Thinking process is always dominating, and there are two ways I can just tell you. about this. Two ways are the coordination. When I'm saying coordination engineering, coordination means we have to do coordination with others. But if you speak truly, if you think truly, we have to coordinate with ourselves also. Maybe some people don't accept this, but it's a fact. There is one process of coordination within my mind, within my body, and I coordinate to my various opinions, because I may generate various opinions in my contemplation when I work. This is our option number one, this is option number two, this is option number three. Likewise, there may be many opinions evolving in my mind. And out of these opinions generating in my mind, I have to take out everything and to read everyone, to study each and every opinion, and to find which is best suited to me. And that opinion, I may think, I expect this is the best. So kind of, I have to coordinate myself, and that is kind of different word. Self-coordination. I'm not using someone else. It's a coordination of opinions, various opinions. There may be many alternatives available, and I have to link, I have to study them. It happens. So that is first requirement, means my mind should be that much powerful that I can analyze. You may call it analysis also. Coordination based on analysis, coordination based on synthesis, coordination based on information provided by others, coordination based on documentary information, and we have to link all documents together and see circuit is formed or not. And if circuit doesn't form, means there is something wrong. We have to check what is wrong and we have to correct it, and then we say this is a coordination work. So we have to be very specific about this. Coordination is a big game, you can say. It's not a small game. Coordination means we have to be, everything, every required information should come to one point and one time. Whatever is required should come to one point, one time, and one agreement. And that agreement, if we can say, it may be in general life, it may be in professional life, or it may be wherever. Means it's a timely game, it's a time set. And if doesn't go in time, then there will be variations, there will be changes, because sometimes materials also change, our requirements change, and time gap means just like this, a session expired. So session expires, so that's important. So coordination has many angles, many aspects. We cannot simply say when a student studies, it's also a kind of coordination. The student has to coordinate between mind and book and information from book, and to keep in memory something. It's a kind of undefined coordination from very infant age, and it goes on developing as you grow. As we grow, it goes on developing. We have to understand this fact. As much, you might have seen very senior people. Maybe they talk differently, but when they work, they concentrate a lot if they have experience, because experience teaches you. Because a first guru, first teacher in life is experience, real experience. It's not the only count of years, but count of works you have done, quality of works you have done, quantum of works you have done, and whatever formula or theories are applied there, it makes changes. And that's, we say, quality works can be done only by drawing all input and using whatever we draw and put into that. We have to depend on that, and depends on your what level of work you are doing. You may be doing science work, engineering work, or other works, and coordination plays its role accordingly. Coordination cannot be defined in one go, just like quality cannot be defined in one go. Coordination and quality coordination and careless coordination, there are so many ways you can define. I coordinated that one, I could not get results. Somebody can say that. Then coordination level is very low in that case, because person might not be very serious what he did. So here what we say, coordination engineering projects and others, I'm going to talk just to I see we have professionals, particular in engineering world, because I'm talking of engineering, and engineering means a way to develop you can say a domain where development starts with. You can say engineering is a domain, it's a world of applications of knowledge, not only knowledge, applications of knowledge. Engineering is a world where we can say knowledge is created from available knowledge. नॉलेज इज क्रिएटेड फ्रॉम अवेलेबल नॉलेज. हमें इंजीनियरिंग को कैसे डिफाइन कर सकते हैं? अरे ऑलरेडी मटेरियल दुनिया में है, सब में, वर्ल्ड में पूरे में ज्ञान भी है, लेकिन ज्ञान हमारी समझ आएगा तब हम काम कर सकेंगे. उस ज्ञान को समझना, उसको निकालना, उसको समझ के रैशनलाइज करना और फिर उसको एनालाइज करना और उसके बाद उसको अप्लाई करना बहुत आवश्यक है. और इसी को समझने के लिए इंजीनियरिंग की दुनिया बनी. इंजीनियरिंग ये नहीं कि हमने बनाई है, इंजीनियरिंग तो पहले से, जब से यह विश्व का निर्माण हुआ, इस पूरे यूनिवर्स का निर्माण हुआ, ब्रह्मांड का निर्माण हुआ, इंजीनियरिंग तो तब से हम नहीं समझ सकते थे. इंजीनियरिंग ने इस पूरे सौर मंडल को, पूरे ब्रह्मांड को बनाया है. वो इंजीनियरिंग हम नहीं समझते, उसका नाम क्या दें? यूनिवर्स इंजीनियरिंग आप कह सकते हैं. लोग कहते हैं ये किसी ने तो किया होगा, किसी ने किया होगा तभी तो है ना, ये तो कैसे होता. अगर इतनी सी बात हमको समझ आ जाए कि पहले से चल रही है इंजीनियरिंग, जो हम नहीं समझ सकते थे, मानव नहीं समझ सकता, ह्यूमन कुड नॉट अंडरस्टैंड दैट. बट इवन इफ यू डोंट अंडरस्टैंड दैट, इट कैन नॉट चेंज, इट हैज़ टू गो ऑन एंड ऑन. हम आते हैं 10, 50, 60 साल, 70 साल, 80 साल के लिए जीते हैं. क्या होता है? We have been living in this Brahman which was constructed many billions or trillions years before. Who knows? I don't know. It's only in statement. How many years old is this? How many years old you are? And moreover, this is also relevant years. This is not, this is not real years. This is relative year. We fix with 365 days in a year and we count that. But this is not permanent answer. This is reference to something, and that is reference to days and hours and time, like that. So it's kind of basic mathematics. And mathematics, you can say, is a walker. It's an engine, it's a driver, it's a technology, it's calculation. No challenge to that. This is mathematics, and we have to understand that point. हिसाब है, दिमाग का काम है. जिसका दिमाग नहीं तो वो मैथ्स कर ही नहीं सकता, ये भी पक्की बात है. Therefore we have to understand this point, how world moves. Mathematics is science, and mathematics is technology, and mathematics is calculation, mathematics is life. This universe is based on mathematics. There is no other subject that we can understand this universe without knowing mathematics. So mathematics, you can say, coordination also is related to mathematics because it is related to time, it's related to cost, it's related to quality. All these three, time is in count, quality is also a kind of measurement of work, and of course cost is based on what quantities you have got and what unit prices you have. We have to understand. ये बात तो समझ आनी चाहिए ना आपको. मैं नहीं समझता इसमें कोई कंफ्यूजन होना चाहिए. और रही बात इसकी कोऑर्डिनेशन की, तो वी कैन से इस प्रोजेक्ट्स एंड इंजीनियर्स, एंड वी से फॉर रिलायबल क्वालिटी इंजीनियरिंग वर्क्स डिलीवरीज ए प्रोफेशनल नोट. इट इज जस्ट ए पेज आई हैव स्टार्टेड. It's only around 30 pages now. I don't know how many it shall be, just like it happened in this file. We started very originally. I think it was started somewhere in 15th May last year, 2021. So many months have elapsed. Only few pages have been built. Because I don't want to write something which I can't prove, I can't know. So depending on what I think, what comes to my mind, I started this and then kept on changing on various states. And you can say we just leave to you how do you take it, but quality has a different role here. And we can think of quality, we can think of coordination also then. So I have taken quality engineering and coordination approach on this. And this is quality file, as I said. I combine both files together and talk. And here coordination is very important you can say ground or very important undefined subject. Coordination, I say undefined because there is no formal subject as such. I've not seen or heard in our syllabus, engineering syllabus, what is coordination, what does it mean, but no problem. I have done many projects. It's not first one person I am. There are so many, hundreds and hundreds of engineers, around thousands and thousands of engineers around the world who have done many projects, and it's only reference I'm trying to show about this. For communication support, because coordination means communication medium. Without communication medium, we cannot coordinate anything. We cannot move together. Coordination is a movement. You can say, you can define as such, it's a movement of information. It's you can say alignment of information. It's a relation of each information to other one. It's among all information what's relation. This relation is worth working or not work. This is worth application or not worth application. All that we have to say. हम ये आप इंफॉर्मेशन जो आपके पास है इनके साथ चल सकते हैं, इनको समझ सकते हैं, एक दूसरे से बात कर सकती हैं, लिंक कर सकती हैं, नहीं कर सकती हैं, एक फैमिली जैसी बन सकती हैं कि नहीं बन सकती हैं, चाहे वो बेशक एडहेरेंस फैमिली हो, ना सही कोहेसिव, एडहेरेंस सही, एडहेसिव सही, ये बात को देखना है. सो इसमें हमने आई हैव टेकन मैनी these projects which I am showing to you, these images, is of my own, my projects, directly or indirectly I was involved, and you can just see these means these are where I was involved somewhere. Only few means I can't say all these are here, only few projects I can show to you that sometimes I was involved in my career, and I like to discuss with you these. First let me tell you what are these. This is this is a school building. It was Boys Preparatory School. It's located in Amsal, Qatar, on Al Khor Road. This is, and this, if you start from Grafa roundabout in Qatar, Doha, Grafa roundabout, and move on Al Khor Road for about 8 kilometers, you will find this location. And it was constructed in 1986. I was on behalf of contractor's agent for this. And this was my first major project, you can say, a major in sense of Gulf, not otherwise. I did many projects before also, but in Gulf, GCC countries, which call out, I know you what we understand by GCC, Gulf, this is council, country, Gulf Council, Cooperation Council, Gulf Cooperation Council. Gulf means there are countries like UAE, Saudi Arab, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, and Qatar. Likewise, this is a group of Gulf countries. These are all Arab countries. And here I joined first time in GCC countries. Before that I had worked in Iraq and Libya, but due to some reasons I joined this country, Qatar. Capital is Doha, a very small country and beautiful country, of course. And I did before this project another project also there, schools landscape project, 5 schools. But this was a structural oriented project, so this taught me something. And that experience is important for me, I can't say no. It's RCC work, and in those days, 1986-87, I learned a lot on this, and I explained to you in last video also what happened with me, what difficulties I faced. And I had to stay on this project for about 1.5 years as to structure is concerned, RCC structure, and we did a lot of work on that. I tried to teach others as well as teach myself, and we were oriented for quality because our consultant on behalf of client or from UK that time, Qatar Consultants Groups, and head of that group, engineer, chartered engineer Nigel Robinson, I still remember, very smart guy, and he controlled this project as engineer or resident engineer, you can say, engineer rather I should say, civil engineering division of government here Ministry of Civil Engineering Development, etc. What was the Civil Engineering Division? It was owner of this project. At that time, this project, I didn't know, I never did independently any project till that time. And that full-fledged project, I say full-fledged because it was turnkey, like I mean to say a lump sum big process in which total construction was involved, no designs but constructions only, like today we call red book, red book. It was red book like lump sum amount, and we had to do everything from taking over site to handing over, including all stages, this RCC building, all finishes and all services required to be provided in. This was interesting for me as a young boy. I was just, I think, at that time around 30, and my experience was very limited, and it was not my country, and of course my associates there, my juniors, they're all non-Indians. I have worked there with Lebanese people, we can say Palestinian people, Thailand, Indian, Pakistani, and many more nationals, British. Likewise, we had to deal with other Arab nations. So you can say nature of working, we had to, every country has different nature. But it was open work, means there was no hierarchy system. Of course you are responsible. I was responsible there, I had to be accountable. And some must be, I did some mistakes and I explained to you what mistakes I did. And mistakes are done by everyone, we cannot avoid that. I made mistakes, I was upset also. But if you are upset, you cannot leave work and go, I can't do this, that is your weakness you show. So I did so much on personal level to learn that time. And I was, see, it's my habit once I start, I employ myself there itself, you can say. I forget that I am employee of someone. I devote myself to do whatever I have caliber. So you can say this project, actually sometimes we were not having good information about this, so our Lebanese head, he was from Lebanon, that head, I mean to say my senior, who was overall in charge of these projects, we used to go to that site, go to the other site. Problem was there were 14 such projects moving in those days around Doha. Some almost same design. So you say, if you don't get information, he didn't say to me that, he said to someone else, if you don't understand this, go to that site. And he said, why should I go to that site? If those people make mistakes, we should make mistakes. No, this is not going to work. We'll do our own, we have our own caliber. Anyway, what I say, I'm not appreciating something. I'm saying is, this project is that one. This design was, you say it was 86 when we constructed this, 86, 67 as I returned, this means maybe 1 year back it was designed. So this may be 84, 85 design, and in those days it was working stress method used for this. And you know what is working, maybe public doesn't know, but working stress method means your system should work. I mean your RCC or whatever material we use in concrete, that should be within elastic limit. Means no yield and no plastic stays and no collapse stays. So chances of collapse were not there because we used to take safe side of stresses, safe side of properties of materials, and also finishing were standard size. We use there on this work about, you can say, structural concrete, at least 3,000 to 4,000 cubic meter, and others also. Exact quantity I do not know, but what I know is that our columns designs were different shapes. Some columns were rectangular, some were square in section, some were cross-like, some L-shape, or some were T-shape. It depended, and some decoration was required, not very much, but generally I am saying, and some, in those days, architectural Attraction was important as well, but more than architectural, structural importance is more important. And so no problem, we moved safely, except some problems, some, in this such a size project you can find many quality issues. And but I was very much concerned about quality because of strict controls in those days. Strict controls. I noticed controls in Iraq on one project to project. I'll let you know later on. But here, next to that, I felt controls worked. It's not like Iraq it was, but it was still better. It's still worth, you can say. What I learned in Iraq, I cannot forget. I learned in 1981, 82, 83. Whatever I learned from Iraq, I never can forget that. Till today, I did not find that type of controls in engineering anywhere else in world wherever I worked. I did not say worked around world, but informations we have. I worked in many countries, about 5-6 countries, and what's level of quality and what is level of coordination, I can understand. That time coordination was not formal, quality system was not formal. Now these have been formal. Coordination still does not exist anywhere. Nobody can say this is system of coordination. I did not see any person who can say that. So that's what I'm trying to say on this. There was items of M25 concrete, M30 concrete. You know what is M30? It's a grade of concrete which indicates compressive strength of that concrete. Compressive strength on 28 days. This is technical requirement. Maybe everybody cannot understand. But on 28 days we finally decide what grade this is. On 7, we test also on 7th day, but 28 days conclusive one. So M25 means, or you can say, we can call them 25 or M250, whatever you say, those days kilogram per square meter, per square centimeter, per units consideration. Now it's in Newton per millimeter square. It's only unit change. So this grade of concrete I'm talking, and we used all concrete by pumping. We did not do any site mixing, not at all. Even blinding concrete, blinding I mean to say, lowest concrete we call here in this country lean concrete. It's also lean, of course. It is M25, M20. So, and it was foundations for in rock area. So settlement was not a big issue, but backfilling was an issue. Well, as I said yesterday, we concluded whole excavation rather than doing each individual foundations. And that made our life easy. We could do fast work in foundations. There were 300 more columns in this project, and we even casted 40, 50, 60 foundations in one day. You can say, what level of supervision? There was no basement, no, of course, it was easy work. No basement or no collapse chances of soil, no subsidence chances, because of nature of soil was rock. Limestone rock, I still can say, whole Qatar, whole Doha, generally a major portion of Doha is rock. It's not like Baghdad, which is clay base. And maybe it's not like, you can say, desert, other deserts in UAE or in Saudi, which may be like sand. So Qatar is little different because it's a peninsula. I think it's somewhere. Generally, it is rock strata. I have gone through many soil investigation reports. I have seen differences in strata in this country, Qatar, Doha, and UAE. There is a different structure, different soil, and soil makes changes in design. Designs depend on foundation designs, particularly depend on nature of soil and or nature of substrata, you can say. So we could save time here because we did not have to excavate much below, or no piling was required, or you can say kind of course simple work but tedious work. We did this work successfully. That's why you can say first major projects in Gulf. A major, I mean to say, from taking over site to completing some structures, some finishes, You can say there was a waterproofing on this, of course, as usual it is done. There was inverted roof system as is done, and there was flat, or generally all suspended slabs, and all whatever kinds of testings were required had to be done. I did myself all planning work. Planning means scheduling and all organization work. I myself worked out and it has assisted our procurement section, and I also was involved in bidding work in that office, just to know more and more, because bidding teaches you more and more. If you work for a contracting company, bidding is a route that can actually to provide you with much more, you can say, in technical information. This project gave me a lot, as far as technicalities is concerned. You can say a lot in items were known at that time, because this is school building, and in this all types of classes, all types of roofs. For example, this atrium, or you can say we can assembly hall, as well as workshop building, laboratory building, classroom building. For example, there was, I didn't know what pipes, Volcathin pipe was also used in laboratory or chemistry laboratory, or piping as well. Likewise, something which you did not know before, you would have known that. And I learned a lot of items before that. So, but this was limited to one project. But we have to, when you deal with tenders, you can say, for contractor, you have chance to go through many specifications or contact detailing from different presentations, from different documentation that you get through bidding, and that gives you input. And later on I got that much more than this. I'm just trying to see my project. So it was a good one. Its details will talk later on, because I don't know all. So it was Amsalal Qatar Boys Preparatory School, constructed 1986-87, and you can say other we'll talk later on. Now we'll talk this much only, because I'm just talking coordination, and they are called here. I just tell you about the coordination also. I forgot to tell. We had two different types of organizational. In those days, generally, in those days, you can say, computers were not available. We had to conduct meetings. I mean, we had, as a group of consultants and contractors, meetings were conducted monthly, and that was called progress meeting or contract meeting. In those meetings, we had to submit reports. This was one meeting, and preceding to this, because this meeting was very long, if we had started, the consultants started meeting long, and they said, okay, so services parts of that meeting were also included in that one. Services means it is mechanical, electrical, or whatever else, plumbing, or whatever activities were involved. This was part of meeting. But when we started that, it first felt that it takes a lot. So what was done by consultants or by engineers, that this meeting was bifurcated into two, because services were taken care of by subcontractors, not by main contractor. What is decided, okay, you are main contractor, and we have your own subcontractors approved by us. So you supervise them your way. You separate this meeting, related services, I can say building related services, and you communicate and you coordinate yourself with them and conduct that meeting 1 week advance of this meeting. And then you make your minutes. Our representative will be present there, or present or not present, but for information, we were used to send minutes of that meeting to consultant or to engineer. So there were two meetings. In one meeting, a contractor itself was chairman of that meeting, and in other one, consultants or engineer was chairman of that meeting. So we had a good coordination there with them. This is procedural coordination. So I was site agent, means I was like a project manager or head of that site on behalf of contractor, accountable to everyone. my office, accountable to government, accountable to consultants, as representative of government, of your contracting company. So I conducted many meetings with interest, and I learned a lot. We used to get shop drawings, many shop drawings. We used to get services materials for approval. We had our own approvals. We have our own working drawings. There was so much in that. Everything was done, of course, in those days manually, and I was myself with this plan. And really, I still remember that time. I submitted our schedule bar chart for approval. I didn't expect that I would be surrounded by a volley of questions. I submitted. Of course, I worked a lot on that at home. No time on site to work for that. I took that drawing page, big sheet, to my room, and whenever I had time on Fridays or on some other time in the evening, I used to work on that. And we submitted that formally. It was submitted, and no other input I got except from some time schedule requirement from contract. And I consulted with our contractors. They say, okay, we will meet your schedule, no issue, but we will require this much time for our input. So I worked out that schedule and submitted. But when I was called for interrogation, you can say it's a kind of, though it's not interrogation, but you can say a conference type, a debate, or we can say how to confer on this, or we have to review this together rather than you just send us and we. So of course we submitted that one, and I was alone there in that, and there were all consultants members were there. So many questions, and we had to respond. So, well, I did not worry because this was in my mind to do with that. How we'll do, what way we have to go. So important point was we should have been clear about when you do coordinate. Of course, it's a part of coordinate, though it's a part of planning. But planning is only subject here, or scheduling is just, But you should have coordination in mind from one stage to another stage, how you have to move. It's also true that we cannot do everything in one day. We have to schedule out for 1.5 years, say, and we have to move. We have to start with civil engineering, and then all other disciplines, all other branches will follow you. Accordingly, there are various stages in that. You can say each building is different, and you cannot start all building one time. You have to start one, move it, and then start another one, move it, and then like that you have to go. Well, many talks, and then successfully certain comments were agreed to be incorporated, and once it was approved, we had to run it in time. But I still remember there were some delays sometimes, and for which recovery programs were also submitted, and of course then we had to submit. This was whole program. Then we had to submit. You can say every 3 months you have to submit another program, quarterly program it used to be called, and in addition to that we have to submit weekly program. And also weekly was also important because you have to tell them, you have to inform them what you are going to do in 1 week. And daily reflection was done on site diary itself. Tomorrow we will do this, today we are doing this. Likewise, it was very interesting because every information used to have tips. Nothing else you can say. We used to write notes. Sometimes we had to do this work today. And you can say it's like project planning coordination, you can say this way. It's a project plan coordination. It's not technical, but it is workable coordination, link coordination. A group of work is there, and you have to do that in time. You have to know where you stay, where you don't stay. There was sometimes delays, sometimes not. And it depended in those days. And it was also important that one should concentrate. And if one does not concentrate, you cannot, you shall be in panic always. And in civil engineering construction, in such a vast construction where quantity is more and there is no other solution, you must have patience. You have patience, you have to look after site, you have to look after office, you have to look after work, working with hands, and you have to attend meetings. So there are so many responsibilities, you can say. But once you start something, it takes some time, but you have to do it very seriously until it's streamlined. And once it's streamlined, then there's a system flow. You may say, once something is put in system, it moves on. It's except only that you have to be careful about that. In beginning, everything looks very difficult. Oh, how many items are there? How shall I take care of this? But don't worry, it doesn't doesn't give any harm, except that you have to be serious about that. And that's why I'm taking quality engineering and coordination engineering together. Quality is coordination quality also. It's not simply quality on works. If your quality is used in coordination, if your quality is used in your acts or in your works or also in your system, well, I think it helps. So this is just superficial information I have given to you about this project. It's not very first project in world, but how we move, that's my point of view. How we can move, how we can help ourselves, our whole self. So number one project, plate one, I say, then it's same way I can say this another one. This is plate two, and it was located in, you can say, I think it is located in Baghdad. Dar al Thawra, by chance, it's the upper one. Dar al Thawra Press Complex, Baghdad, constructed 1980-94. 1980, sorry, I think it's by mistake, it's 84. I'll repair this, no problem. And this was here, you can say this is a group of buildings, but what I'm talking is not all buildings. I'm talking of this building, you can say. There was this building, there was this building, there was this building also, all many more buildings in same work. But I am talking about this portion because it's a critical one. We had to work on this, and all buildings had to work, but this is a group of buildings. These were two, you can say, this is a tower here. You can say this is a tower up to 25 stories, I don't exactly remember, and this is up to 4 or 5 stories here. The basements in this, and this is, going upwards. This is portion of stairs and also, you can say, lifts. This is highest tower among this group, and I concentrated on this tower portion as well as other items on the other buildings. And it was in 1980, 84, 83. This was good work. As I said, in Qatar, this is also same, but here quality control was very high level. You can say, in fact, if I could learn something to an extent, quality is related, that I say here, quality engineering is related in coordination engineering. Coordination and quality both were there. It's not that. Of course, no system. I have seen first time thousands and thousands of documents, can say big size drawings, A0, and many piles, no time to study them. Of course, we are not main contractor here. There was another company from whom our company got subcontract, or you can say contract for concreting, or you can say structure, rather than say structural contract. And of course, it was not lump sum for this project, for us, not for Jordan company. They were lump sum or not, I don't know. We got this contract from them, and we had to take care of these items at unit rates, but technical work we had to do, and that was an important part of this, that you have to do engineering work, whatever is possible in this construction engineering, other than not total engineering, construction engineering. So you can see this was my second project in Middle East. I joined Middle East in 1981 after giving up my job in Delhi Development Authority, which I did for 6 years, 1975 to 1981 mid. And that was supervision job in Delhi, and I did not learn anything from that job, to be very frank, except quantification or except doing supervision over works being done by contractors and preparing their bills of quantities and their measurements, billings, likewise supervising works. So I take out that experience from my professional experience because it was not very much attractive. It was not very impressive, I can say. But when I went to Iraq, I started first with one project that was infrastructural one. There were buildings also, but I was given work of infrastructure, sewer line, manhole construction. Likewise, I was given also another project in Sharqat, Mosul, in Iraq, where it was silos complex, grain silos, you may say it, grain silos. There I worked. I can't show you that here. I don't have records of that. If I go to Google, I can search. But yeah, then I was given, you can say, I left that one also after a few months. But I noticed that I was very impressed. I never expected or never even dreamed that such level of quality was involved. Millimeter by millimeter inspection by Qatar female engineers. You see, that time I had seen female engineers in that, young female engineers, of course. Female means, I did not know that there were female engineers in that number, which I never noticed in our country. At that time, I met those intellectuals, female engineers, who worked on site inspections. I used to call them for inspection. And they inspected, millimil by millimeter. You can't imagine even today. I'm talking of 84, 83, 82, 81. And really, it was difficult for us, our people, to stick to what they said. But once we could understand what we had to do, to what level we had to work, it was really learning experience, you can say. I worked there on 3 projects in Iraq, and on all those 3, I was impressed. In grain silos work, there was one engineer, Kifa, and this project was from EPI. EPI was main contractor, and there was government, of course. And grain silos construction, and there was many ancillary buildings. I was given to do finishing items of ancillary buildings because structure was complete except some very small. So what I learned, that it was very, very, of course I didn't know much on contracting, how to go do work in contracting, but I had to work day and night. I had to learn there. And that controls were too high, you can say. When you have the millimeter controls and actual workmanship you must have. And then everything was done on site, checked. I noticed that on these all projects in Iraq, very strict control, very strict control. Believe me, till now I didn't find any such control anywhere else. As I saw that, as I experienced that in Iraq. Maybe you people have that difference. So then I came to this project, and we are showing to you this Dar al Thawra press complex. How I got this is different, but here it was my learning university, you can say, a kind of learning university, though there was not a formal one, no professor on this, but I learnt from very, very senior inspectors who were never having a degree, never had any formal diploma, but they were experienced in their callings. I still remember one very old person, not very old but quite aged, who never knew English, who never knew anything except Arabic, He even counted in Arabic, but he was deployed for inspection of formwork. Inspection of formwork, you can say, formwork of columns, beams, slabs, formwork of walls, and very, very strict controls. Because all external work were fair face in this tower, as I said to you here, this tower here, and we started from level 4 of this tower. Well, I thought it is too easy. I thought it was too easy and I won't find any problem when I joined this site. But believe me, that old person, he made our life very difficult. He used to check each and every line, each and every, you can say, location of structural columns and beams in such a way that it should not be out of line. Or you can say, I didn't know what way he wanted, but once he made it clear by demonstration what he wanted, we invited him for inspection, and we thought our work was done. And he came, he rejected everything. It was in first go. And way he wanted, we didn't know. And once, of course, it was not done by computerized system. It's all lines and threads, you can say. We call plums and we call dimensions and we call axis, measurement, axis to axis or center to center. And he taught us in a different way by demonstration what way he wanted. And of course we delayed this in first few inspections, but once it was understood what way that person wanted, and then we follow up very fast. I still remember that one column was out of line, not out of line, out of its orientation by some way, you can say it was out. We had to break that column. I still remember that, and I was very much professionally insulted, condemned, you can say, for that. I was blamed that I had no experience. And also I remember one wall 15 centimeter thick. That wall was bulged due to some reason, and I was lamented at I did not have an experience. Anyway, what I'm saying is that to learn something when you did nothing in life is very difficult. I was not a contracting person. I was just like a consultant in government, supervisor or supervising engineer. So how could I know what contractor does? But here I could understand how work is done. In absence of quality system, quality was applied. In absence of coordination system, coordination was applied. So you can say it was not question of salary, question of learning. You may say Iraq is one of my countries, many countries where I could learn. And I could not learn after that anything except I had to teach others. These people, whoever they were, British or non-British or Arabs who used to be consultants, I could not learn anything from them, but I could learn from others, It's very interesting one. So in this project we had to do a lot work on repetitions of slabs. It was very fast track project at that time. There was no such system, but mobile cranes were available, tower cranes were available, and you can say all technology was available, except that it was not very fast but good. So we had decided with Jordan consultants and clients and everyone. I still remember one female engineer who used to come for checking our works also, in addition to that old carpenter. But that was qualified female engineer. I still remember her name, Maisoon, Mrs. Maisoon, and I also met one female engineer in laboratory that was also intelligent, and she offered, still I remember, she offered a black tea glass and she talked at length good. And of course she was laboratory engineer and she used to test everything. So I can say 4-meter casting of columns, 4-meter height, major columns, not small sections, 1 meter, more than 1 meter, you can say some columns 1.5 meter by zero point 0.3 meter, 0.5, zero point 4 meter, considerable size columns, so you have to cast minimum 4 meter because of AC radius is about 4 meters, and we had to cast in one go, and there was methods available, and we used to cast. See, pouring height 4 meter in one go, your chances of bulging, your chances of openings of sides, this happens. And we have to do preparatory works accordingly. How to do, how not to do, you have to think of that. They had to use bolting system. In those days, everything was not advanced. Today, everything is proprietary formwork. You can easily do it, but that time they has used plywood, timber battens, steel jacks. Even this cup lock system was not available, which is available now. Simple propping, steel propping you had to do for all, and then brace it by pipes. I'm saying temporary work, supporting system of slabs or supporting system of columns or walls. The chances of jacks to move out of here, and so you could say sides belts. Likewise, we can say it's a kind of experience that teaches you. This experience involves coordination. This involves your quality. It involves everything as such, and we can say that. I will take this in further details also later on. So we agreed for 21 days cycle for slab. You imagine now, 21 days we agreed in those days. Those times, 1982, we shall complete one slab in 21 days cycle. And a lot of conference, lot of debate was done on that. So we say we did so much successfully. In fact, we tried to achieve our goal. It was also cold weather in those days as well as hot sometimes. And this is one project that I just like to refer. And then I was, of course, in Sharkat, Mosul. I wondered how could this engineer question government engineer. I had to reply to him. Sometimes he also interviewed me indirectly without telling me. It means, it was not difficult. He was a very good engineer. He wanted everything for quality. He used to check examine every item on site with brilliance. Of course, maybe he was learning. I don't know. Then I went to after that to Libya, which I don't have any details with me. I'll just give you a brief reference of this. And this is a project photograph. This is from for ethylene plant. It was quite big, and I stayed on this project for about 3 years, dealing with structural concrete. I was actually not project manager on this project. I was office engineer, project office engineer who deals with, you can say, quality coordination and miscellaneous types of works, or you can say generally major office work, major technical office work comes to responsibility or supportive responsibility of office engineer. That till that time I could not understand what is office engineer. Means office activities were being responded by office engineer, and those activities. First I joined this as a site person. I was taken into this job, and I was asked, you want to do site work or you want to do office work? I could not understand what I mean by that, but I said, whatever you want to give me, whatever you want to issue me, I'll do that, no problem. But then you tell us. Anyway, first push was to site. I was sent to site for work in that project. I had many foundations to do, and I did that. Of course, I had some disputes with other foremen. They could not understand what I wanted. But we did work. I was involved in casting small foundations, combined footings, and also machine foundations, compressor foundations. This compressor foundation was quite big considered those days, and because this was massive block, and this massive block means different type of concrete here, and we did not have much exposure to technicalities required on this project at that time. I just joined and could not go through all documents. However, we did that. A special question was asked in that machine foundation. I still remember that specific time because curing is known to everyone. It's curing. It's nothing very new, but I prepared method statement for this because I was seen by staff that this person can do office work as I did. I mean, there was many engineers there on site, but those who were interested in office work were not many. However, I was on site. I started that. There were Lebanese people, Lebanese foremen, Lebanese engineers, Lebanese general foremen, Lebanese, generally all from foreign countries. Very people, workers, of course, workers for our countries, and there was also Lebanese or Egyptians, and also Pakistanis, and you can say multinational people, British engineers to consult, and design was done by, you can say, L. This was not L&T. It was Linde. I still remember Linde was designer. It's alliance of Linde and Baruch. There's a Baruch project. Baruch is a company in Abu Dhabi. So it was raised and we did a lot of work in this. I was not in very senior position, as I said. I was just an office engineer, and before that I was site engineer. Then I became in charge of office engineering work for whole project. So I had to coordinate, I had to check clashes that happened. I think that was my main role, and very important role, because I had to think full time, work full time on engineering, engineering requirement on site, not design requirement. I'm saying engineering requirement, which involved designs also, specifications, and you can say you have to make sure that work should be done in a constructability manner and not simply just push, but to make sure that there should be no issues at all. During my site work, I still remember one time we were ready for some foundation. We were ready for pouring that major foundation. I mean to say, I'm not saying there's only major foundations, and immediately before that, an information was delivered to us. We had to change some steel reinforcement. And I said, how is it possible? It's going to be poured. He says, no, there's a design change. My God, design change? You're going to pour? Yes, you have to do. And there were some contract provisions on that which were not known to me. That changes were acceptable if there were some changes in designs without any cost. This was contract. So, however, we did that. We did that immediately before concreting. Of course, it delayed to so many hours, or I think one day, that pour, but we had to do that. So I still remember that time. It was about 100,000 cubic meter concrete, structural concrete on this project. And foundations, many hundreds foundations. Major foundation, and there are so many other involvements on this we'll discuss. So I'm just saying, just trying to involve myself in this whole. And then there was another, as I discussed, this firing range, shooting range, as discussed with you also before. RCC work again, and here is that, you can say, another plate which is showing process plant of this plant I showed to you. This is a process area of that processing area. And it's very, I just said Google are the used to get this in. And it's also very interesting actually. This process area, you can go and find on Google, or you can get this. And you can say this here is different one, it's hidden, but it is main area, main process area. And here is process area, you can say. And this is here, of course, this is also part of process area. Here's a seawater basin, and there are some substations. These are all tanks. Here is the group where you can say wash water structure, or you can see so many high level structures, and you also can see here so many mesh compressor units. And this all areas having little distance from process area. And this of course entries somewhere here, entry road here, and you can see many more projects were used to come at that time. This is water lagoon, It's called lagoon here. And there's some outfall structure somewhere here, not built at the, maybe, yeah, it's a outfall structure. Outfall means water after being used is transported to this, conveyed to this area, and this is only for holding. And here is flare tower, you can say all these pipe racks coming here and there. So much is hidden now because work is over and there's so many still buildings here and here, you can say. I still remember those buildings, and that here, let's call it, you can see this was one major compressor here. It is cracked gas compressor, and two compressors here. This propane and ethane compressors, and these are steel buildings, you can see, in sheds, and it's open structures here, cracking gas and all those will show you. No issue, no that substations, and this various tanks are here. Tanks are likewise a major portion here of different types. I don't exactly remember now what it is, but no meaning of that. My concentration should be on quality and coordination engineering you're talking of. But before going into that, we should know what I'm talking about. These are projects. We are talking about projects. It's not simply we are talking in air, and this is seawater basin. As details here, you can see. I think it is seawater basin here. Well, yeah, it's there. You can see this is that portion of it in this project plan. Seawater basin. You can see this is quite big. Here you can see water inlet. This pipes big with 84 inches pipe. You can see 84 inches pipe. Couple and that to 7 feet pipe, 7 feet here, 7 feet here. This pipe is going here. This is a water pool. So you can see seawater basin, quite deep. And from here, this water is delivered to whole plant. These systems are shown there. Pump house is also somewhere here. I think it's there, pump house. Yes, yeah, this is pump house. So you can say it is parallel to this project. This is, and it's cross. So it goes, water comes in here. The pump house is pumped out, and it's up to 8 meters deep. This open water, seawater, and this is very important part of this because it's meant for purpose of cooling purpose, and then disposed to the outfall, whatever way. And that is seawater basin. There's nothing here. I'll give you that one, no problem. But let's just see what I'm talking. And then plate 7, and that's a small project, but very important one. And this is a record house, a digital record house, you can say. This is located in Qatar for client QP, Qatar Petroleum, and this is just outside boundary of you can say this operator, Qatar Petroleum, side is a plant, and that is outside standby record center. It's called. Very small building and very small plot, but very strict. I took over this site myself on behalf of our company, that was contracting company General Al Huda Contracting it was. And this, you can see there is very small here. You can see here is bound of this. This is another big project on other side of this, and here is all residents of where is another building. So you can say only this road is here, which is open to this site. This is main building. This was a record building, very small but double story. This is guard house, very RCC building, guard house. And here it is service block. There are service blocks, transformers are put, electrical decompression, other provisions are put, pumps are put. And here's water tank on ground, water tank, water reservoir. And then this boundary wall here. And there are such areas. So it's all RCC structure, but Qatar Petroleum is known to be of high quality standards in Doha. Qatar Petroleum was known to be very highly skilled group. As far as, just like same thing as I said in Iraq, this is also strict one to an extent. Quality and coordinations are related. submission systems of documents are very difficult, very lengthy, of course, and then quality controls, quality system, what you actually want. It's quite advanced group, or you can say they force you to abide by quality. You can say that this is property of KOP in Qatar. They are strict, I can say, and it's national oil company, and you can say it's not easy to work with them. They force you, they hold your work if you do not move according to requirement. Their own system, they have their own quality system, they own their coordination system, and without doing that, you can't stay in on these projects. Of course, I will talk of this also later on. Now, I can say. Now this is another project. This is, of course, I was there for 6 months on project. This is hospital building in Jeddah. I worked on in this building in year 2010. It's good building. You can say it was good building, but bad quality. It was, I can say. In a way, there was no control from beginning itself. But it is a good project as far as Saudi is concerned. Because in those days when I was there, now I am not talking about now. This might have been commissioned by now. It was a good project, and so much work was left and so much was done also. I've seen many drawbacks and many demerits also. I'm not going to discuss here, but I said that it was one of my important projects. I was alone in charge of this for some months because of many reasons. Other reasons I don't disclose here. This was an interesting one, and we'll talk of this also. Yeah. Then I can say this is another one. You may see what I'm talking of. I'll just little down this. Okay. This is Ras Laffan, Ras Laffan, Qatar. It was 1994 to 1998, probably I think. I was there in 96, 95 and 96. Again, air officer engineer for these tanks, these are LNG tanks. LNG gas. There's a Qatar gas project, Ras Laffan, Qatar, written already there in Google. So here is this group of tanks. These are silage tanks. What these tanks are, you can see here we have cantilever platforms located at top of this tank, top view of this tank. There is all other portions. But TBM was a alliance, a consortium for this work, design and construction of these tanks. Very important project. I'll then go to. I'll read this all later, not now. I'm just trying to say what we do. So we come back to coordination engineering, which I'm talking about. I come back to these details. Let me go to what we're talking about. I'm talking about these projects. And again I say what coordination is a must. It's a must. On every project it's a must. We can't do otherwise. If you don't have will to do it best. Let me take out this, put off this also. My switch off battery. Well, I think it's better to be very specific about it. Now, why I'm doing coordination? The reason being, coordination, people don't understand in fact. I mean, they understand what is coordination, but they don't do it. And that's the drawback here. Here I'm saying coordination engineering. this important one from each and every point of view. Let me blow a little more so that you can see clearly. It's not coming in. I think it's coming in. It will come in like this. Okay. Let us adjust this way. Let us 200 is okay. Let me keep 180 is better than 280. So, okay. Now, why I'm staying is this, no. Coordination engineering is a must on every project. It's a practical reason, a practical requirement. Say. When I say titles are so much, this means here is so much. If we miss coordination, I think we do not work as engineers. I can call in that case that I'm not a good engineer if I don't coordinate. I'm not a good engineer if I don't worry about quality. And that's very important point. It says, some people may question, why are you raising this issue? Yes, I can answer that very easily. That coordination is actually not seen. Coordination can't be seen as it is ongoing. Work only tells you did something. You can draw many drawings, all discipline drawings. You can draw. Every discipline engineer can work on its own drawings. I can draw civil engineering drawings, design drawings. I can draw sections, elevations, all that by my own self. And that of course is itself a design coordination itself. You cannot do all that without having complete knowledge of what you have to do. Same way mechanical engineer can decide. He can design, mechanical engineer can work on its own design and drawings. And likewise, every other engineer, electrical or whoever, plumbing, everyone has experts on their own works. That is fine. Expertise in your own profession is required, without which we cannot move. We have to do engineering work. If we are not doing the Gospels, we are not going to write some poem, again I say, we have to do something that will be done on site, on works. It's for that purpose. It's not for entertainment. We have to draw something that shall be worked. And if it's wrong, means it's wrong. If it's right, means it's right. And it's you to determine by calculative method, by rational methods. Your design should be reliable. It should be workable. And question is in between this length of time, this length of requirement from design to construction. What is distance? How can we come and work in that distance? There can be errors in design. There can be errors consequently on works while we do them. But we have to eliminate those errors. Possibilities are, because design is handled by many people, same way construction is handled by many people. There are chances because of human errors, or because of lack of information, or because of lack of experience about how to do work. There are, many chances. There are possibilities of many chances that we miss something or we misinterpret something. We can say, oh sorry, I could not understand that, it's wrong. We cannot say that. It's wrong, I did it, but I have done it. Means I have spent money, I spent time, I spent material. And there was some lack in coordination. Information was missing, it's not available. And what answer do we have? We have worked that one. That work is not perfect. So what answer do we have? No answer. Only they will say you do not know job. Everybody will say that. You don't know job. You're not experienced. You see, here experience is attacked, not your degree. Remember, you are not experienced. I got these comments on myself. I openly say, this person is not experienced. This means experience is very powerful wealth, you can say. Powerful wealth. Experience. Engineering, after passing examinations of degree, it is only experience that helps you. And experience on designs, experience in construction, these help everyone, because design must be easy and reliable. It should be easy in its implementation or prosecution, as well as, you can say, what I say, when you construct it, at construction stage, it should not cause any major problem. It should be conventional. It should be in a way that it can be easily understood, whatever is given in designs. And with little effort, if workshop drawings are required, if working drawings are required, we can easily, or shop drawings are required, we can easily work out that and implement that after following procedures. And that's where I say, here 2 points are considered. One is information, and one is coordination, and one is requirement. We know what we are going to do, and we have to check that in our shop drawing, in our working drawing. Why we call working drawing? Because based on that we work. And why shop drawing? Because based on that we work in shops, in fabrication or otherwise. So working drawings and shop drawings, or you can see many other titles can be given, but these are drawn including information given us from manufacturer, from vendor, and that information is included, incorporated, and we say, okay, we are able to work, we are able to produce this work without any problem, without causing any problem, because we have all, even if there are problems, we have got certain solutions on that problems, so we can move, and that is where it's called. We call it coordination. Coordination, again I say, you have to set your definition yourself. Definition varies from one point to other point in competency, in consistency, in you can say events, or how to organize in that way. One should be present, one should be attentive, and not just think on what others say. So this is where actually we start with. No coordination means no engineering. You might have heard in many discussions about top people. If we had been there in 1947 before that, what would happen? That's why you are not there. You won't do anything. Well, but you have to do coordination as an engineer. You are not a politician. You are a person to strongly build your nation physically. Even though there's no input that there are some problems, but problems do exist always. So coordination engineering is that part of engineering which is not formal but necessary. People do not use this word in their life because they do not know the meaning of that. No issue, but designs, construction and controls are very interrelated, required sections for achieving from successful start to completion of a project, which all must be applicable throughout project stages, with all works be smoothly effective. Designs may be considered oversafe or optimum, but real construction involves actual expenses. So these are, you can say, I'm just reading already, which was read, just to refresh what we have to discuss, what's the basis of that. I'm just giving you input, as I gave last time also. Designs may be considered oversafe or optimum also, but real construction involves actual expenses, contract time, financial liabilities, and building professional reputations. Building's professional reputation. It should be certain. It should be certain motto of an organization to apply good controls on project so as to keep in line to schedule, planning being an actual part of controls. Control includes progress, cost, escalation, time, budget, quality requirement assurance, coordination, engineering as well as total engineering and safety, risk cover and delays, whatever. These are all integrated divisions. These are all integrated divisions which should move in unison to achieve project delivery target. A well-designed project could be jeopardized also during construction phase. From budgetary viewpoint, should not be given due required controls application properly. Without organizing with full intensities, eagle types on project can say. And construction controls, you may say, no project can be delivered in time, in fixed budget. First act of project leader therefore must be to get into allotted budget and then to move project within its defined ambit. One should remember that once money is lost, no possibility exists to retrieve that lost money back. Analysis requirement tool can be required to operate with complete dedication, carry out or conduct controls. All required sections related activities impose total dedication from quality within such disciplines in actions as well as in works, whereas all such acts certainly demand involvement of engineering coordination activities at each and every ongoing detailing survey, detailing review, and to ensure constructability issues. So constructability is going to be a main in this constructability, which cannot be, we can say, compromised at all. If you compromise that, you compromise everything. That's what I say. So we may say analysis tool can be required to operate with complete dedication to carry out conduct controls. And we have to understand all this, that once money is lost, no possibility exists to retrieve that lost money back. All these points you have to keep in mind. So we can say otherwise that all required sections related activities import total dedication from quality within such disciplines in actions as well as in works, whereas all such acts certainly demand involvement of engineering coordination activities at each and every ongoing detailing review and to ensure constructability issue. it can be plainly said that engineering coordination is an only formula to reach workable, consistent and competent solution to achieve successful performance or for our activities to be conducted to avoid possible delays. Actually, this is just an introduction. I had to go on in what we have to do. That is why we are here, to be clear about coordination. And I think people understand this, but I don't know to whom they leave it, to coordinate. Coordination is known to everybody. It's not known. Some understand this, some don't understand this. But it's not formally decided. I can say that. If you go further on this, I'm not going to read all. We leave it to everybody else. But what we are going to do is that we have to. I reached up to some points last time. Which point I should start with? Let me see which is best for us to understand. 48 and 47. Let's say from here we can take, let's say, while handling engineering projects, every engineer has to rely on certain specific disciplines. I'm just reading from here. While handling engineering projects, every engineer has to rely on certain specific disciplines or branches of various engineering disciplines. Sorry. Sorry, some gas with me. So we have at least, we have at least 15 branches of gross engineering and building engineers or architectural engineers or civil engineers or structural engineers or electromechanical engineers, security related engineers, information technology engineers, etc., as well as to carry out execution work at supervision level as well as at construction level. Now, even on buildings, we do not all complexities as are noticed on plants facilities or chemical processing plant. I just showed you that sketch, that photograph of plant ethylene. I'm talking of such facilities which are many available around the world, because these are mega projects and we have to be very serious about that. You can say such projects are spread in square miles and may consume many years for each project to complete, design and execute. On such projects, there can be fixed no limits, except to make sure that industry keeps promoting. Yes, you can keep promoting. Why say here, on such projects there can be fixed no limits except to make sure that industry keeps promoting towards meeting more and more capacity requirements, which means that green projects are now a raw one, but once green attains first success on it, it becomes brown for next place of the. Very, very serious issue. This is really coordination. It's not easy. You cannot perform it. Even if you're a doctor, you cannot perform it. If you don't have experience, I'm saying. In fact, you can say, such projects, again I say on such projects there can be fixed no limits except to make sure that industry keeps promoting towards meeting more and more capacity requirements, which also means that green projects are raw one, but once green attains first you can say success on trying is we go forward now, right? It's very, very, analytical study. We have to have patience. So everybody can understand what you are talking about. So as I said, there can be fixed no limits except to make sure that industry keeps moving or promoting towards meeting more and more capacity requirements, which means that green projects are Roman, but once green attains it, you can say, first success on it, then it becomes brown for next either augmentative of its capacity, then or for enhancing certain standards. That's in fact architectural engineer, who's architectural engineers, civil engineers also, along with structural engineer and with support of all services. Engineers can say handling its suspect, sussex provide all the alliance works professionally, respecting and honoring, provide alliance works professionally, respecting and honoring each other, project design and executive member, complying with project coordination and more specifically quality requirement. When it is stated about quality requirement, which indicates that quality must be employed or used for purpose of conducting coordination and discipline execution, has been misled, or you can say, and its failure has been happening by misunderstanding this discipline in its entirety. Quality works in each and every discipline. Quality works in each and every discipline in life as well as in every profession. Whereas engineering is no different. No different. Quality must be used as a requirement in all works. All works, including world of quality and coordination. Factually speaking, individual's quality is known by its professional personality. Efficiency achieved about degree of work or production. Quality one possesses, and then further assessment can be calculated or charted out. So we have such points here, certain points that are required to be discussed for purpose of project execution or prosecution, or one can call it organization. Handling respecting, construction, work activities in both disciplines of site work as well as coordination without which works cannot be completed in each and every respect. For this purpose, it has been attempted to write certain points so that one could get an understanding about works requirements in profession of building construction as well as plants facilities of processing plants, construction, Each point certainly details out in line to slow flow of required works. I had collected certain information and include this point in one book long back. It has been too long, yet works are not changed in terms of quality and coordination despite availability of digital word everywhere. Here we can slang foregoing briefest points are required to be exploded into world of explanation in various heads and subheads, working out comprehensive designs for project in each and every respect. Now, designs include architectural details, structural details, service details, internal and external landscape and utilities, and many more without any fault. We have to do that. Preparation of working designs for running relevant details in all disciplines also required for various legal purposes. Formation of documents, package for purpose of other for either charting out, calls for bidding, invitation or for self doing these works. Preparations of bills of quantity for each discipline is very much necessary. Once all designs are finally available, and accuracy at this stage much help in starting, much help in much helps in starting various controls on scheme or project. Preparation of all required documents to be included on bids for allowing construction experts to work out respective price to implement project to its success. Among above structural part of documents and finishes part of architectural as well as other activities dominate cost factors that can be marginalized per bill of quantities and decided required and demanded specifications pertinent all disciplines involved. Indeed, aforesaid expressive heads amount to voluminous work quantum, but it's necessary for every control on construction time, duration, required cost necessary, and standard of quality requirements, which would be dominated by sort of specifications to be included. Initially, all foregoing activities, though conducted off sites in offices of experts, yet are coordinated perfectly at all stages from design viewpoint through major portion relates to design engineering domain and quantity engineering also so called estimation. Designs within this stage must be coordinated correctly to an extent possible among various disciplines, say between architectural and structural discipline, structural and services disciplines, and all other disciplines, whatever being involved. Total concept of constructability, buildability must be taken care of during all such designs and designs are involved. Now I have to think of again what you say. Thinking is very important part of system, and engineer means thinker. Initially, all these activities, though conducted off sites in office of by experts, yet are coordinated to perfect all stages from design viewpoint, though major portion relates to design engineering domain, quantity, scapes. So what we see now is very important part here, right? What we have to say, let me see battery storage, 61% remaining, so it's okay, we can keep moving. Uh, Initially, all foregoing activities, though conducted off-site in offices of experts, yet are coordinated perfectly at all stages from design viewpoint. The minor portion relates to design engineering domain and quantity engineering, also so-called estimation. Design within this stage must be coordinated correctly for requirements specified. Thereof, system. So we can say designs within this stage must be coordinated correctly to an extent possible among various disciplines, say between architectural and structural disciplines, structural and services disciplines, in all other disciplines, whatever being involved. Total concept of constructability, buildability must be taken care of during all such designs and respective coordination, which if ignored could mar smooth execution possibility of project work or activities, resulting in certain delays on completion time. Constructability is a dominant issue in current advancement. technology applications scenario, which of course lacks in training at first level of education. It should be kept in mind that engineering is a factual world and no fiction can be successful, which means that engineering just takes all the time of Constructability. Constructability. Constructability is a dominant issue in current advanced technology application scenario, which of course lacks in training at first level of education. It should be kept in mind that engineering is a factual world and no fiction can be successful, which means that just talking is not done, is not adequate, but work delivery implementation is necessary. For meeting aforesaid requirements, a lot professional maturity is required, essential to comprehend whole issue that relates to works to be carried out by various either agencies or parties involved on every project from conception stage to design stage to construction stage, and then finally to delivery, delivery stories. Such activities entitlement can be described in its heading form as such, which may be indexed in entirety into divisions of planning, explanations of planning classes, that can be one part, and entire design involving all disciplines pertinent all branches of job included engineering whatsoever. Entire design involving all disciplines pertinent to all branches of engineering including whatsoever, and detailed drawing per square per foot functional requirements all instructed. We may say detailed designing per project functional requirements for purpose of future documentation that may be required for meeting objectives of formation of project, of formal contracts or working drawings, qualification leading to various bills of quantification leading to various bills of quantities, preparation, specification preparation which could be general as well as is project related specifically, particularly as well as manufacturers related instructions. Processing comprehensive package of bidding documents. Yes, and one more, I think. Shortlisting possible project related experienced bidders. Processing comprehensive package of bidding documents. Shortlisting possible project related experienced bidders. Processing entire bidding leading to a selection of contractors after having conducted thorough scrutiny of received bid documents passed through professional competition. Furthering if required, conducting negotiations based on value added bids and also received an alternative bid. Formal declaration of appointment of contractor which could be either in construction status or in EPC status, this depending on requirements. These foregoing immediate paragraphs contents give or fulfill pre-construction of project execution requirements, which are of course very cumbersome since all involved activities are of office oriented, by import heavy requirement of professional working experience and professional pragmatism for a successful impending contract documentation based on bid documentation. For sure, all aforesaid included works activities amount to involvement of engineering and coordination on equal basis. Because if one is missed, others shall also miss, which criticality must be considered seriously for reliable documentation uh, for sure, aforesaid include works activities amount to involvement of engineering and coordination on equal basis. Because if one is missed, others shall also miss, which criticality must be considered seriously for smooth and reliable documentation, for reliable working or execution of project works. It's again refreshed that conducting multidisciplinary coordination from involved branches of various engineering that must be depending on project nature shall always be a must for final detailing outcome detailing out engineering solutions and not just working on isolated solutions for each discipline. This requirement is often missed by many engineers, many juniors or budding engineers or professionals due to lack of project experience. But once one gets itself certain projects and certain professions, this requirement is often missed by many juniors or budding engineers or professionals due to lack of project experience. But once one gets its certain project delivered and considerable lot engineering is attained. This is an only reason that after having undergone few years of working experience on certain projects, one can call self a junior or trainer to oneself, and then tenderness outward or towards others, which wealth earns one's self-confidence, whereafter such confidence acts as one of competency potentials, and each and every such competency or competencies counter competency potential. Each and every such competency or competency counts while considering professional attainment, making as a part of continuous professional development. In such useful and engineering roaming up situation that makes projects to act like field universities. The no education in such useful and engineering rooming up situation that makes projects to act like field universities. The no academic short term title is yet there is no alternative to replace such reliable training from elsewhere because such project related organization equips incumbent professionals. The executives make up, such requirements imports very important significance in necessary of certain reliable professionals having multifaceted theoretical and practical experience on various callings and even as deficiency in certain discipline. Documents reading would make up that deficiency. It's also certain facts that coordination is individual scrutiny oriented without requiring any interruption to enable incumbent coordinator to concentrate continuously for whatever issues until resolution reaches for so we have to be very specific about this. So many documents can be used, and then we can say many documents can be used that are used in many projects, such as we will discuss with that. It's also certain facts of coordination is individual scrutiny, and we have to understand that fact. And to put on switch off battery, and I'll be glad to be a little practical on that point of view. So you can say, as I said, documents that can be used, you have to produce. The many documents can be used, are used in many projects, such as what are those, site memorandum, briefly written site memo, site instructions, engineer's instructions, site technical queries, engineering queries, construction method statements, shop drawings, working drawings, site clarification, certain confirmations, etc., whatever suits to involve problem or issue in considerable question. These are certain points. It's an important one. We have to be realistic on that. Okay. And also, it's important issue. You can say temperature is 12 degrees currently, 89% humidity. You see, its current stage 12 degrees. I just checked this for my own issue, and it's really sometimes very important to know it. For whatever reason, we have to get it. We have to understand it. We have to understand that. If you don't do that, that's a bit problematic. I am just trying to locate some points from my own writing, past writing, what I did. In fact, you can say I had buck a shot like that. I can only say, let me just, what I did here. Out of these points, I will say, now there are something like this. For example, it's preparation of various BOQs. Let me just go back to tell you what is this. Explanation of various activities or operations are given in certain explanations, and here is you may say preparation of various BOQs. This is a great deal of technical work. If you are talking, we are talking of preparation of BOQs and then various building specifications. Of course, this is a design part. Then short listing of tenders, pre-qualifications, floating tenders, closing, scrutiny and negotiations, and then tender bond. You can say tender bond, and of course we may say these are very initial stages but very explanatory. Then signed handover, commencement of construction, supervision and control till practical completion of that contract, complete site clearance by various agencies working on contract. These points we have to understand. Also, we have here coordinating lines, and that coordination are architectural structural coordination, structural mechanical coordination, electrical mechanical coordination, structural finishes electrical coordination, structural plumbing and drainage coordination, services finishes coordination, external services, external works coordination, services relation to statutory bodies, structure and structure coordination. And this is coordination. Also there is some connection, some liaison work, like main contractors, subcontractors, subcontractors and subcontractors through main contractors, main contractor, consultants, group and engineer, contractor, other contractors working in same site, main contractor and engineer, main contractor local statutory bodies. And also there are, you can say, some work of diaries. As I said before, diaries maintained just for reflection. I'm giving this so that if we understand this, we can move on to certain queries. For example, it was job that it said that maintaining site diary, daily report submittal, material submittal, shop and working drawing submittal, weekly program, quarterly program, complete program, revised program, monthly progress reports, monthly technical and coordination meetings, monthly technical and coordination meetings, internal for contractors, general meetings, special and instant meetings, site memorandum, site instructions, engineer's instructions, valuation for completed works, subcontractors' valuations, reflected ceiling plans, as-built or record drawings, requests for inspections, test reports, concrete pour records, material test records, material status schedules, drawings status schedules, complete coordinations and liaison related to allied services, departments, local bodies, etc., etc. These are certain very specifics, and we have to discuss this in details actually. You cannot just jump onto titles only. And that's why here is a list which we have given, that you can see. It is very important list from every point of view. As I said here, this is, many points are here and many more will be added, because it's just for purpose of coordination we have taken here site memorandums, briefly written site memo, site instructions, engineer's instructions, site technical queries, engineering queries, construction method statements, shop drawings, working drawings, site clarification, certain confirmations from whatever suits to involve problems or issue inconsiderable questions. And we have to go a little into depth of that. But because we have to discuss it in length, we have to go in background also. To understand that it's not simply we are studying, we have to research every part of that. So just hold on please. I take water glass. Let me go in background for some clarification first, because if that is not clear, because we may not understand, or those who are new, those who are profession, they may not be clear about what is being talked of. We are saying here, it's really interesting, I'm saying explanation of certain issues, and that is preparation of BOQs. Let me start with that. That's a very important activity that engineers starts in career. It's very important activity. Though it's very important one, you have to work on BOQs, and BOQs can be done only when you know items, and that's a really interesting one, and we have to understand that. To understand that in letter and spirit what we are talking of. So here I can say that it's of course very important from every point of view. Every engineer has to understand that. It's preparation of various bill of quantities. Now, it's a great deal of technical work potential, and preferred by quantity engineers in consultations with engineers of different disciplines under you can say final supervision of engineer, and all based on detailed engineer's designs and planning, and of course schematic details, project specifications as prepared by specialist engineers of respective discipline, system of forming. It depends on what type of construction contract shall be adopted. As often in Middle East and other advanced countries, trend in practice is to adopt itemized lump sum contract, wherein tenderer or bidders offers a fixed sum for accomplishing whole job according to scope of whole works mentioned in tender documents based on rates of all items priced by tenderer in provided bill of quantities. Practically, this form of contract is of great convenience to all due to it having potential to reach various settlements of expected disputes of additions, alterations in it, and omissions, etc. It also helps in evaluate amount of works done very easily without measuring work done on site and recording in measurement books. It's very elementary I'm talking, but it's important. So we can say we are talking somewhere in bills of quantities. I think where we took it, I don't exactly remember where we took it. Bills of quantity, well, wherever it is, it has to move very perfectly in such a way that we understand this documentation we're talking, and maybe it's not here, but we have to anyway. What I say in its essence, all disciplines of building or structure, as case may be, are included in one bill of quantity in general sequence. What is that? Excavations. I'm just telling name nominally, there can be other also. I'm just major one is excavation, backfill, or in short earthwork, concrete works, reinforcements, forms, blockwork, brickwork, metalworks, woodworks, electrical, engineering, plumbing and drainage, decoration, finishes, miscellaneous, and other works, if whatever, etc., and all summarized to conclude package sheet of bill. Actually, it starts maybe with preambles, of course. Then we have to survey if it is required. It can also be geotechnical survey. It can be some other item. You can write details in preambles, also various details that we have to provide. But it's just indicative that I am giving to in principle where quantity is required to be worked out. That is important. All these minor items are there which can be just said lump sum, or we can say item. My intention is where QS or quantity engineer has to work in depth, or engineer has to work in depth to compute what's required. That's I'm trying to say. What do you mean by BOQ is that we have to make a bill for every component. Every component or major part of component. And I would say that basic advantage in this method is amongst cost of individual structure be known separately, and all variations could be decided with ease. Valuation too should not take excessive time. Valuation of work done, I mean to say, valuations of work carried out, I mean to say, would not take excessive time, as same is done observing percentage of items included in bill. Of course, it's hard work done at time of preparing bill of quantities is over benefited by instant estimation or judgment of valuation, and saves a great deal of taking measurements every time for making payments, as done in other types of contracts having only one bill for all contract jobs. For making BOQ, measurements from detailed drawings should be very carefully taken off by quantifier in interest of fair treatment on job. In precedence of BOQ, preambles are itemized, comprising of all probable expenses separately to provide an opportunity to tenderer to pre-price carefully. This may cover all expected expenditure. Contractor shall have to spend on contract per clauses in general, as well as specific conditions and other particular clause. Clauses may include expenditure on procurement of workers, staff, site mobilization, and advance money required by contractor before commencing job. procurement, procurement of machines, third-party insurances for workforce, accident benefits, leave benefits, various other benefits, and overhead expenses, transports, messes, drinking water, staff and workers, accommodations, along with creches, facilities to be provided for engineer or resident engineer's office and staff on site. It may include engineer's office, overhead maintenance, car, drinks, etc., extensions, contractors' staff, tests, expenses on compensation in case of death of work persons, timely payments, programs, working and shop drawings, records as built drawings, necessary liaison works, to works coordination, telephones, telexes, meetings, electricity, IT, drainage, fuel, guarding, fencing in special cases of prohibited sites, provisions for obtaining entry passes, air passes in case of foreign employees, bank expenses, weekly and monthly reports, technical experts and all other general and particular expenses. For design of job, it's not essential that a tenderer should price all preambles that as they may be included in other parts of bill but marked as included. These are briefs that we have just taken care of while preparing bill of quantities. There can be many more issues in that. There can be many more issues on that. My intention is just to let you know what happens. Then we have to go to preparation of various building specifications, and that is very important, significant technical part where we have to be very careful. It's not quantity surveying job; it is actually technical job, very much technical job where engineer's input is required. This is very much a specific part of execution requiring use of deep technical knowledge, significantly and precisely bifurcating to two shall be termed as general specifications and project specifications. General specifications relate to standard specifications published by public works departments or some other competent organizations, generally known to all people practicing on contracts of building constructions, while project specifications are specified items for special uses in contract signs to serve a special requirement of user and detailed reference to engineer's details. It's a must to be made in writing of that preceding BOQ nomenclature of that item and after tender's bond as a summary of all project specifications, materials required for those and sources of availability. for guidance purpose only, but while using name of manufacturer or supplier, it must be made clear that equivalent shall also be accepted to avoid suspicion of nepotism. Additional addition of a sequence or a sentence that special materials as provided shall be used per direction and instructions of manufacturer in all cases, as materials shall possess some time warranty for a fixed period, and also in case of demonstration is required for purpose of training staff of user or contractor or employer, for purpose of procedure how to use and maintain for a smooth functioning, shall be benefited to all, for ease of items execution or prosecution. What included length of writing should be given due concern, as very lengthy specifications often invite boredom by reader who should close after reading a quarter of that. Better avoid being a tool of wastage of time and syllabus of a subject of an engineering degree program. That's why engineers engaged in drafting specifications must be very senior and experienced professionals who can assess practical use of that, also communicate maximum in a minimum time to make it interesting for engineers on site. Refer that every time for discussions and execution must be very very talented, communicative, technically master of subject, and of course patient. Some examples of specific items are epoxy, flooring, X-ray room plasters, squash coat plasters, squash coats, kitchen equipment, suspended or false ceiling, carpeting, swimming pools, structural steel painting on surface exposed to weather, armored plates, sports surfacing coverings, comfort systems and high standing systems, engineering systems, electrical systems, mechanical installations. Generally, services systems are designated or designed by construction contractor based on specifications provided to contractor, lift installations, pump installations, sports equipments, or whatever other uncovered in general works or covered in general works or architectural engineering department specification. And likewise, you can say specification has got no limit. We have to prepare specifications for all items, whatever shall be included, and it is very important fact, and we have to continue such specification issue. It's not you just end of specification. These are very few items I have discussed here. It's a long list actually. We have to give specifications for various degrees, various grades of concrete, various types of concrete these days we use, and various types of materials we use. You can say we also rely on materials provided by manufacturers and patented materials. You can say advancement has gone to that level that sometimes we have to include specifications given by manufacturers for purpose of documents, because this is their duty, this is their designed invention or innovation or patented product. Likewise, there are so many issues, but where generality is concerned, for example, concrete, blockwork, brickwork, aggregates, or you can say other tiles, roofing, flooring, whatever. We have to take all that into consideration. And that's very important point here. We can say here in this case that, as we said, you know, we have to go through this. Then we have to understand what's technical query, what all this, and documentation appraisals. If you can see, just like this, I'll take up that specific continuation. And as to site queries, for example, we are saying site technical query, and we have to take what is query, technical query, as I say in this documentation. Technical query, technical query, you can say, is raised when some discrepancy is discovered. Discrepancy means what? Discrepancy in technical detail pertaining to certain design items not correlating or corresponding to an architectural and structure or whatever else discipline design details, and we have to take that into our account. For resolution to reach correct detail description, discrepancies are raised in form of technical queries format, giving full details regarding discrepancy, and if possible a solution be either proposed or clarification sought or understanding for confirmation made. And this document is this document is originally produced by relevant site engineer through office engineer. If office engineer position is established, or further checked by technical or engineering section duly authorized by site organization management for transmission to engineer for response, and finally consent obtained for works on site. And then you can say engineer scrutinizes questions engineer scrutinizes questions, writes back answers for execution on site, and answers recorded as red line marks up. This may be engineer's queries. There may be engineer's queries we call ETQ, technical queries, or site technical queries, STQ, or SC, that can be site clarification, dependent on mode of format adopted on project. ETQ, that's engineer's technical query, is generally used by engineering team only, while site technical query STQ is used for site execution purpose. We can see that it is something, we are talking of quality engineering and coordination engineering. Quality engineering and coordination engineering, and we can't go without that. We have to do a lot on that. That's very much, we can say quality engineering and coordination engineering is root for successfully working. And we require to establish permanently engineering professions in all other walks of life. So we talk of quality and coordination in combination way, combined way, or else we can say we have to understand how to form a system, and this is all including systems, and we have to really have understanding of these. And as I said, coordination engineering, which is again as usual, coordination engineering have to be, in fact, display this in a perfect way that we can coordinate properly and we can understand where do we stand in professional world. Coordination is, of course, it is very extensive term. It's many forms, many technicalities. Sometimes it is too difficult or it's like impossible. Means you have to. But as I said, I did a lot of work in that, and you can say coordination on this project, this but external services, all coordinated. Industries are coordinated, and I still remember that. It's long back. It was done in 1980, 2003, 2004, but I still remember what was involved in that. So I'm to say we'll continue this one, because issues never close and these go on and on. And we have to understand them in spirit and requirement. We cannot simply close issue. And of course, this is a very smart project. All projects are, many other projects are there, but I don't have data of that. Whatever we have, we'll try to show, and this detailing we'll discuss. We did how we did, and then it's coordination engineering is a must, cannot be taken for granted. You can say world is world and job is job, can be just closed, can't close our eyes, and we have to be very serious about every issue. What I say that we take now, it's in such a way that if we many such documents, such and it's really worth to see that in our way, in our style, walks of life, and we have to do that. So we now take a closure of this, and thank you very much, I would say, rather than that, right? And